whenever Activision Blizzard or ultimately Microsoft Games need some money, they just release a brand new Call of Duty and say this will sell $1 billion easy. But this year proves that that is not always the case, that the Call of Duty curse has finally been lifted from so many people, and now we've actually got some numbers about how the launch weekend sales were significantly lower than Black Ops 6 in several regions, and you love to see it. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I am somebody who used to love Call of Duty. I would put thousands upon thousands of hours into the new releases. My favorites were, of course, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. I like Black Ops 3 as well, and then Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. Those games were phenomenal, and over the years, we have gotten some pretty good experiences, but we do know that the overall level of quality has tanked, and they've focused more on collaborations instead of actually listening to players and bringing back boots on the ground combat and hyper focusing on a certain aesthetic and making sure that it stays that way, because this is just a company that wants to make money off their product, and they could bring more fans back if they actually listened to customers' gripes, but that doesn't really happen. They, with every single release, get farther and farther away from what gamers actually want, because they're listening to streamers who I think really just want the game to be massively different. They want jetpacks and grappling hooks and explosions, and sure, those things can be cool, but in moderation. And Black Ops 7 has not been going particularly good. It's got some serious competition. The Steam Hub numbers are really bad, and now we're finding out some launch weekend sales. So I've talked about this game quite a few times on the channel. If we take a quick peek over at the Metacritic scores, Critic is a 69, it was previously higher, and the user score is a 1.7, absolutely abysmal. But let's look at its competition. Arc Raiders, a game that I personally am obsessed with right now, is sitting at an 86 Critic and a 8.1 user. You've got Battlefield 6, an 83 Critic and a 7 user, and then you also have Where Winds Meet, which is a game that recently came out. It's not in the same genre, but it is still a game that released around COD's launch. It's got a lot of players, 70 Critic and a 6.8 user. So we're talking about just a lot of really serious competition right now. And I love to see that, because competition breeds creativity. I think that it is healthy when you actually have companies who have to continue to one-up each other in order to capture an audience's attention. Taking a look at the Steam charts, we have 491,670 for the Call of Duty Hub's all-time peak, and in-game right now is 81,411, and there is not an individual Black Ops 7 listing because you have to play it through the hub, but this is still really freaking bad for them, no matter how you slice the cake. And we're also now finding out that Black Ops 7's launch weekend sales were 50% lower compared to Black Ops 6 in Europe across physical and digital sales, which usually when we hear about numbers dropping in Europe, it's physical only, because physical sales, yes, have gone down over the past couple of years, but digital as well, that is not a good look. Plus, the Black Ops 7 sales were also 63% lower than Battlefield 6 in Europe. I think that this is so funny to see, and ultimately, they are getting what they deserve. When you treat your customers bad and you ignore what your customers want, they will abandon you. There is no loyalty in this industry, because if you are not delivering, someone else will. I mean, look at something like Arc Raiders Steam charts for a minute here. 372,739 players in-game right now, and with Black Ops 7, it did release on Game Pass day one. I'm sure it's got a lot of players that way, but they still need individual sales. It's not getting them on Steam. Maybe it's getting them on console. I don't think that Black Ops 7 has sold 0 copies. I'm certain that it's still going to make a couple $100 million, but they need over $1 billion easy with their development costs. But our creators, nearly 400,000 players in game right now when Call of Duty isn't doing good either. And Battlefield 6 has 217,604, and this is a mix between Battlefield 6 and RedSec. Either way, though, it's still doing pretty good, and gamers are wrecking Black Ops 7 online. I think that the Bionic Woman Captain America arm situation was just a highlight when it comes to what Black Ops 7 has to offer for me, because it just is such a good example of what gamers don't want in their titles. The result of treating players like shit all year, vomiting out bad collabs, and ignoring the real issues with the game while competition was quietly cooking in the background. It must feel bad because Call of Duty has dominated for years and years and years. And it used to be for good reason, but brand loyalty is a very powerful thing. Nostalgia is a very powerful thing, and that's why so many people continue to swipe their credit card on Black Ops and Call of Duty. And hey, listen, I used to do the same thing. It wasn't until like 3 Call of Duties ago when I finally said, no, I'm not going to buy it. I did play 2 of them on Game Pass, but I haven't touched this year's except for the open beta that they had weeks before release, and I was not amused. Fully deserved after years of ignoring the community and refusing to put any effort into things like the servers and anti-cheat. This competition is going to result in some massive changes going forward. In COD, I reckon we are already seeing it with SBMM being removed. I'm so happy SBMM is being left in the past. But console, no one plays on Steam. Data isn't accurate. Idiot shills, man. Watch them raise Game Pass again to recuperate, and yeah, that is a very legitimate thing that could happen. I would be very curious to see how many people actually played it via Game Pass instead of purchasing it. And yes, they did raise the prices recently, but at the same time, if a game that costs $500 million to develop doesn't actually make them money, yeah, they're going to have to either drop the day one Call of Duty releases, or they're going to have to raise the price. That's because Battlefield 6 is better than COD Black Ops 7. Black Ops 7 still on top, scaring Battlefield players so Europe doesn't matter. Deserved. Next year's COD will mark the new all-time low for the franchise. So there are a couple of people, as you can see, that are making comments about how, ooh, Black Ops 7 is still doing better, but they're getting ratioed, and it's great to see. The downfall has begun. They seem to struggle with the marketing for Black Ops 7 based off the trailers. I don't even know who their target audience was. Also, the art style of the game is so ugly they couldn't even record a good-looking multiplayer trailer. Yeah, because it's just a DLC that nobody wanted. Good, hopefully they start making bangers again. So it's going to be a very hard year for Black Ops and Call of Duty until the release of the next one, because at launch, if a game isn't doing good, I don't think that they're going to feel good in 6 months when people have completely dropped it, or they only have a very small dedicated audience, and it doesn't look like Battlefield 6 is going anywhere anytime soon, and it definitely doesn't look like our creators is. Really, the biggest loser here is Call of Duty. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.